Ladies and gentlemen, there will come a moment in your life when someone knowingly or unknowingly will wound you. They will speak against you, lie on you, betray you, disappoint you when someone hurts you. The very first impulse that rises up inside you is to react. Maybe it's anger that flares, or pride that screams for justice, or confusion that demands an explanation. But hear me clearly, every time you react in that moment, you are handing over your power. You are allowing someone else's words, actions, or intentions to dictate your emotional state, your peace, and ultimately your destiny. And that, my friend, is a dangerous place to be. You see, reaction is a natural human response. It's fast, it's fierce, and it's often fueled by raw emotion. When we react, we give permission for that pain, that offense, to control us. We give it the steering wheel to drive our decisions, our moods, our relationships, and even our futures. But what if I told you that true power does not come from reaction? True power comes from restraint. True power comes from knowing when to hold your tongue, when to lower your fist, and when to walk away, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to choose peace over chaos. There is a kind of strength that is quiet, that doesn't need to shout or prove itself. This strength is found in the silence that follows the hurt. When the world expects you to snap back, to retaliate, or to respond in kind, you choose a different path. You choose to stand firm, unmoved by the jab, untouched by the insult. That kind of power unsettles the enemy more than any loud comeback ever could. Because when you do not react, you refuse to feed the fire. You starve the offense of its fuel. Remember, your reaction is the gift you give to someone else's negativity. If you respond with bitterness or anger, you become entangled in their story, and their negativity spreads like wildfire in your heart. But if you refuse to react, you are saying, I am bigger than this moment. I am stronger than your words. Your hurt will not define me. It takes wisdom to realize this. It takes courage to walk away from the bait. It takes faith to trust that peace is more valuable than momentary satisfaction. Because when you react, even if you feel like you've won the battle, you might be losing the war within yourself. You give away your joy, your calm, your focus, all for what? A moment of validation, a fleeting sense of justice. No, you are called to something higher. You are called to guard your heart and keep it from being consumed by rage or pain. When you choose not to react, you reclaim your authority over your emotions. You reclaim your narrative. You show the world, and more importantly, yourself, that you are not a prisoner to your circumstances, but a master of your soul. So, the next time someone hurts you, resist the urge to strike back immediately. Pause, breathe. Remember that your power is in your control, your dignity, and your ability to remain calm when chaos surrounds you. The strongest people in history didn't need to shout to be heard. They commanded respect through their composure. In the end, silence can be your loudest statement. It tells the world you refuse to be broken. It tells the world you refuse to be distracted. It tells the world that no hurt, no offense, no attack will ever have the final say in your life. There's a powerful truth that many fail to grasp. You are not what people say about you. You are not the lies whispered behind your back. You are not the judgments cast from those who don't know your heart or understand your journey. Far too often, we allow the opinions of others to shape our identity, to shake our confidence, and to cloud our destiny. But listen closely. Your value does not depend on someone else's perception of you. Your identity is rooted in something far deeper, something unshakable. When someone hurts you through their words or actions, it's easy to let those moments define you. You might catch yourself thinking, maybe they're right about me. Or, if this is what they see, maybe I am less than I thought. But you must fight that thought with everything inside you. Because when you start believing the narrative others try to write about you, you give them control over your life. You hand over the pen that writes your story, and that story belongs to no one but you. You were created with purpose. You were born with a destiny that cannot be erased by a careless word or a cruel act. When you allow someone's hurtful behavior to shape your identity, you reduce yourself to a victim of circumstance instead of rising as a victor of faith. You forget that your worth comes from a source far greater than human approval. You forget that your value is intrinsic, not conditional. Think about this. How many times have you seen people let negativity define them, paralyze their progress, or silence their dreams? But how many times have you witnessed those who refuse to let opinion dictate their worth, who rise above rejection and criticism with unwavering confidence? That is the kind of spirit you must cultivate, a spirit that refuses to be diminished by the noise of the crowd. When you refuse to be defined by others, you reclaim your power. You stand firm in who you are, not who others say you should be. You develop a resilience that shields you from the storms of judgment and rejection. You recognize that no matter how loudly someone shouts, their voice does not set your value. Only you and the truth you carry in your soul can do that. This is not arrogance. This is divine confidence. It's understanding that your worth is sacred, untouchable by criticism or hate. It's embracing the fact that you are a masterpiece in progress, a work of art that cannot be vandalized by the careless graffiti of others. So, when someone tries to tear you down, look beyond their words. Don't accept their version of you. Hold fast to your truth. Stand tall in your identity. Let your character and your actions shout louder than their insults ever could. Because the moment you let others define you, you lose sight of your calling. You lose sight of the greatness inside you. You lose the opportunity to become all you were meant to be. Remember this: you are not the sum of the opinions thrown at you. You are the sum of your faith, your resilience, and your refusal to be defined by anything less than your true God-given identity. Rise above the noise, claim your name, walk boldly in who you were made to be too many times. People confuse reacting with responding, but there is a world of difference between the two. Reaction is instant. It's fueled by emotion, often impulsive and rarely wise. It's the kind of response that leaves you vulnerable, open to regrets, mistakes, and further pain. But responding is deliberate. It is measured. It is grounded in wisdom, patience, and a clear understanding of the situation. When you respond instead of react, you take control. You refuse to be a slave to your feelings and instead become the master of your destiny. When someone hurts you, your flesh wants to lash out immediately. The natural man wants to defend, attack back, or shut down. The impulse is to fight fire with fire, but that only spreads the flames. Wisdom, on the other hand, tells you to pause, to breathe deeply and evaluate. It says, not every battle is yours to fight. Not every insult deserves a reply. And when you cultivate the spirit of wisdom, you learn to see beyond the surface. Responding requires self-control, and self-control is not weakness, it is strength. It is the ability to hold your tongue when your pride demands a roar. It is the power to keep your hands still when your anger urges a strike. It is the courage to walk away when confrontation beckons. This kind of strength is rare and precious because it takes maturity that understands the cost of words and actions. Words spoken in haste can never be recalled. An angry response can burn bridges that took years to build. The damage caused by reacting emotionally can haunt you long after the moment passes. But when you respond with wisdom, you open the door for peace, reconciliation, and progress. You build a reputation of grace and discernment. People begin to recognize that you are not easily shaken, that you operate from a place of purpose rather than passion. This wisdom comes from a higher place. It comes from a deep well of faith and understanding. When you trust that the right time and right way will come, you don't have to jump at every provocation. You wait on God's timing. You let your character speak louder than your feelings. You show the world that you are bigger than the insult, greater than the offense. Think about the power you hold when you respond wisely. You disarm your enemy. You confuse those who seek to bring you down. You refuse to let the enemy's tactics dictate your behavior. You choose peace over chaos, love over hate, patience over anger. Responding with wisdom means you don't lose your peace for the sake of winning a moment. You understand that true victory is long, lasting, built on integrity and grace. You know that every word and every action carries weight, and you bear that weight with honor. So the next time you are hurt, don't rush to react. Don't let your emotions rule the moment. Instead, take a step back, pray, reflect, choose your words and actions carefully. Respond, not react, because when you respond with wisdom, you turn what could be a moment of weakness into a testimony of strength. You were not made to be a slave to your emotions. You were made to rise above them, to govern yourself with power and purpose. And that power begins the moment you choose wisdom over impulse. There is a calling on your life that demands your full attention, a destiny that cannot be fulfilled if you allow distractions to steal your focus. Distractions come in many forms: the noise of criticism, the weight of offense, the pull of petty conflicts. These distractions are designed to derail you, to rob you of your purpose, and to keep you stuck in cycles of frustration and pain. But you must rise above them, because your elevation depends on your ability to stay focused and undistracted. When you allow yourself to be consumed by every slight, every hurt, every word that tries to break you, you lose sight of your destination. Your mind becomes cluttered with negativity, your heart heavy with resentment, and your steps falter on the path you were meant to walk. Distraction is a thief. It steals your time, your energy, and your joy. And the more you react to these distractions, the further you move away from your destiny. The world will try to pull you into its chaos. It will tempt you to engage in battles that have nothing to do with your calling. It will whisper lies that keep you focused on the pain rather than the purpose. But you must understand this. To walk in elevation, you must prioritize your vision over the noise. You must guard your heart and mind as a sacred space where dreams are nurtured and faith is strengthened. Elevation requires discipline. It requires the ability to say no to distractions, to drama, to the things that seek to steal your peace. It requires focus so sharp that nothing can penetrate your resolve. The journey to greatness is not an easy one. It is marked by moments when you must resist the urge to react, to retaliate, to respond in kind. Instead, you must remind yourself of the bigger picture. You must keep your eyes fixed on the prize, your heart anchored in hope, and your spirit unwavering in faith. When you master the art of focus, you harness a power that moves mountains. You become unstoppable because you are no longer controlled by the chaos around you, but driven by the purpose within you. Your energy is no longer scattered, but concentrated on what truly matters. You build momentum with every step, and distractions lose their grip on your life. Remember, greatness is not achieved by those who engage in every conflict or respond to every offense. Greatness is the reward of those who stay committed to their purpose despite the noise. It is the fruit of patience, perseverance, and unwavering focus. So when hurt comes, and it will, do not allow it to sidetrack you. When criticism flies your way, do not let it consume your thoughts. When temptation to react rises, choose to rise instead. Elevation is about making the hard choices, the choices that keep you moving forward, the choices that protect your peace, the choices that honor your destiny. You were made for more than distraction. You were made to soar above the chaos and to fulfill a purpose greater than any pain. Keep your eyes on the goal, guard your heart, hold your focus, because your elevation depends on it. There is a truth so powerful, so liberating, that it changes everything about how you handle offense, pain, and betrayal. Vengeance belongs to God. When someone hurts you, your flesh may cry out for retaliation. You want to get even. You want to show them they can't mess with you. You want to prove that you are not weak. But the moment you decide to take revenge into your own hands, you step out of your place of peace and into a battlefield that you are not meant to fight alone. Vengeance is not yours to claim. It is not your burden to carry. It belongs to the one who sees all things, who judges with perfect justice, and who will repay every wrong in his perfect timing and way. When you understand this, it frees you from the chains of bitterness and anger. It releases you from the need to react and retaliate. You no longer have to spend your energy on fights that don't belong to you. To let go of vengeance is an act of faith. It is trusting that God's justice is sure, that His timing is perfect, and that He is working behind the scenes even when you cannot see it. It means you believe that no harm can come to you outside of His will, and that He is your defender. This faith shifts your focus from the enemy to the one who holds your future in His hands. When you give vengeance to God, you protect your heart. You guard your peace. You prevent the enemy from using your reaction as a weapon against you. Because here is what happens when you try to take revenge. You allow the enemy to steal your joy, your focus, and your destiny. You become trapped in a cycle of bitterness and anger that drains your spirit and weakens your witness. But when you surrender vengeance to God, something miraculous happens. You begin to experience a peace that surpasses understanding. You walk with a confidence that no attack can shake. You rise above the offense, knowing that the one who defends you is greater than the one who hurt you. Your silence becomes your strength. Your patience becomes your power. This is not passivity or weakness. It is strength wrapped in grace. It is courage mixed with wisdom. It is a choice to trust a higher power rather than your own limited ability to fix every wrong. And in that choice, you find freedom. So when someone hurts you, don't rush to respond with anger or revenge. Instead, turn your heart to God. Give Him the hurt the offense, and the injustice. Let him carry that burden so you can walk free. Trust that he will make all things right in his perfect way. Remember, the battle belongs to the Lord. You are called to live in peace, to walk in love, and to shine as a light in the darkness. When you leave vengeance to God, you claim your rightful place as a child of the Most High, protected, powerful, and poised for victory. There is a sacred power in pain, an energy that, if harnessed correctly, can propel you into your purpose and transform your life. When someone hurts you, it's easy to see only the wound, the sting, the injustice. But what if you looked beyond the hurt? What if you recognized that every pain, every disappointment, every setback was not the end of your story, but a stepping stone to something greater? Pain is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you. It is the fire that refines, the pressure that shapes, and the challenge that strengthens your spirit. Too often, people let pain define them, trap them in bitterness, and paralyze their progress. But those who rise above understand that pain is not the enemy. It is the fuel for their next level. When you face hurt, you have a choice. You can allow it to stop you, or you can use it to push you. You can become a victim of your circumstances, or you can become a victor who walks through the fire, stronger and more determined. The difference lies in perspective and in faith. It is believing that there is a purpose behind the pain, that God is working all things together for your good, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every wound carries a lesson, every disappointment carries a purpose, and every setback carries an opportunity. The key is to look for those hidden blessings, to find the wisdom in the struggle, to allow your pain to teach you resilience, patience, and faith. When you do this, your pain no longer controls you. It empowers you. Stepping stones are not always smooth or easy to climb, but they are necessary for progress. Sometimes the path to your destiny is paved with hardship, but every step forward is a step closer to the fulfillment of your dreams. The hurt you endure is not wasted. It is being used to prepare you for the greatness ahead. Remember, the greatest testimonies are born out of the greatest trials. The most powerful stories of victory come from those who refused to be defeated by their pain. Instead, they turned their wounds into wisdom, their scars into strength, and their setbacks into setups for success. So when you feel hurt, don't retreat into despair. Don't let pain become your prison. Instead, rise up and use it as your ladder. Climb higher, keep moving forward. Let every hurt remind you that you are still standing, still fighting, and still destined for greatness. You were not created to be broken by pain, but to be built by it. You were not made to stay down, but to rise up. And as you step on each stone of hardship, know that you are moving closer to the victory that has been waiting for you all along. Pain is temporary, but your purpose is eternal. Use your hurt as a stepping stone and watch how far God will take you.